Hi, this is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle. Today, well, we're going to show you how to set a bail spring on a Penn 704Z. And this has got a little bit of an interesting story. I was able to find this one recently at a flea market. It's in beautiful condition. There's some paint loss here, but overall, this is a nice, big fishing reel that I got for a fraction of its value because, well, the fellow said that he had the reel out, lost the screw, and well, you need to get a new screw to repair the reel and take it fishing. And I think, among other things, they didn't realize there's not only another screw involved in this, there is a spring that loads in here as well. So we're going to show you how to take this reel apart and service that, and then, well, just get it going again. And later on I'll service the whole reel, but this one is all about the bail spring and making it ready to go fishing again. I like to work on these off of the reel, so I'm going to just show you quickly how to access that internal portion and well, start the service of the reel. I'm kind of curious what's on the inside of this reel anyway, because I did buy it at a flea market. And well, when you do the flea market thing, sometimes you get more than you paid for, sometimes you get less. This one again was relatively inexpensive because well, it doesn't work, but sometimes knowledge is worth a lot, right? So knowing that you can repair that bail spring, or knowing that you can go on YouTube and find a video to show you how to do that, like this one, well, you can get them for a fraction of the cost, get the parts, and well, have a reel that's worth a whole lot more. Well, this one's actually in pretty good condition. What I want to do here is I want to remove the bail. In order to remove that bail wire and the rotor, I need to remove the spool. The spool is held on by the nut below here on the crosswind arm, and we'll remove that. While we do, I want to encourage you to subscribe to my channel if you like these types of videos, and to use that notification button that lets you know when I'm posting, so that well, you can learn how to give your reels a second chance, and well, see how it's done, and maybe foster a new hobby or a side business as you do that. Well, I just cleaned out the whole inside, but what I really wanted to get to is this rotor nut. Now, you can do this on the reel. I'm not going to tell you can't do it on the reel, but what I find when I try to set a bail spring on the reel is while I just wrestle it, it keeps turning on me. Just generally, it's non-productive. So, normally assuming that I am going to service the whole reel anyway, I just as soon take the rotor off, which we're doing now. We're using a deep ratchet because you can't use an open-end wrench. It won't grab that nut. And we got the spool out of the way by removing the axle shaft. Okay, let's pull this off. Now, there's a couple of different ways to go about this. A lot of people try to set that bail spring with the wire attached to the other side. And to me, that's non-productive. It's a balancing act, and it's not real easy to do. So what I like to do, get a nut driver. I think this is a 1/4 inch nut driver. Remove the wire. And well, this one works fine, right? This one's firing away. One of the things that's a little bit off with this reel, we are missing the little rubber bumper. We're not missing it, but it's very well worn down here. That's going to tilt the bail wire back a little bit when it's fully assembled. You can live with it. You can get little pieces of rubber and epoxy them on or glue them on if you want to make a difference. All right. Now we've got that set out of the way. Let's go and show you how to put that spring on now. And again, it's a lot easier to do this off the reel. You have a spring here. The spring has got two sides to it. One sticks out, the other sticks up. Well, if you start to look here, trying to figure out where the up part is, it's really here. It's really on the bottom side. So what you want to do is just lay that into the cavity, just like that, where your spring button is facing down below. Next thing you want to do is to take your arm of your bail wire. Just going to clean this up a little bit. It's a little dirty. Flopping in the breeze. I guess the fella said he was out fishing and had something hooked up and the whole thing just sprang out on him. I can understand that. Now, I've seen an issue in the past where this has been installed upside down. So you have to understand what the right side of the spring is and what the wrong side of the spring is. This is the right side when you're in relaxed mode. You want the spring on the down side, so that beak has got to face up. I've had it where somebody has installed it this way, and while he locked it into place, couldn't figure out quite how to do that. So this is simple. There's not a lot of tensioning that goes on to this spring. You do need to pull down. Find the pinhole in that bail. That's where your spring is going to mount. Get the spring into that hole. Sometimes easier said than done there. And you can see how wrestling this thing from a having this thing installed on the wire on would be a lot more difficult, right? Okay, once you have that on, probably should have taken the screw out first, huh? That would have made it easier rather than trying to do it this way. Well, if you have any questions on this reel or any reel, if you are working on something, maybe and a little stuck, go ahead and leave that question in the comment section. I will try to answer that for you. All right, start your screw. Make sure that your wire is out of the way. I like to tighten it by hand as much as I can. That way I know that I'm not cross-stripping it. Tighten it up. Bring it around. And then bring your other side of your wire over. Now this one, I was told, right, it was flopping around. You want to make sure when you do this that the bail is kind of rounded, that it's not bent out of shape, and that it sits when mounted in that side bracket there, that it sits without tension. And that's a good looking bail right there. Well, let's take that small lock nut and put that back on. I don't think that lock nut is original to this reel, but it works. It's got one of those plastic centers to it. It works. And then we can install this bail back on there. There is a key. I say bail, and rotor assembly. There's a key, goes in here. I'm going to leave the servicing of this. I've done a video servicing of the 704. If you want to watch that, just go ahead and check the channel. You'll find it in my library. Just going to put this back on. Reverse the throw on the ratchet. Tighten that down. Spin it, make sure it's spinning. And listen to how quiet that is. And we haven't cleaned any of this up, but that's got a good bearing in there. If it made a lot of noise, you would worry about it, but that's got a good bearing right in there. All right, so does it trip? That's the big deal. Bring it over, set it, bring it around. Now you got a mousetrap, right? Why do you have a mousetrap? You have a double spring assembly. So unlike what the fellow was thinking about there with you only had this spring on this side, you have it on both. It's working great, tripping beautifully. Keep your fingers out of the way, you may get hurt. Okay, so what else was required should you have wanted to service this reel fully? You would want to remove your pinion gear. You saw that we had the rotor off. There's a collar and a bearing up there that you'll take out. If you want the lazy approach to it, you just clean this up. I'm going to take this all apart. I own this reel. I'm going to probably put some line on it and go show it off to folks. But you'll want to do that. You could spray this down, right? Again, if you're not planning to remove that assembly, spray it down with penetrating oil. Use a paper towel, wipe it like this. That generally will clear the the channels. We'll take it off with a nut. I just want to make sure that it trips as we go through this. Next up then would be your main gear goes back in. On reassembly, when I do this, I like to put the handle back on. That prevents the main gear from moving in and out. There's some tarnish on this handle that needs to be redone. And I think this is the original 704 series. There's a couple of things I think that tell me that. One is the handle. The ones that were reintroduced in 1995, I think it was, had the rubber handle on it. The other one is, I believe that this readout here, the decal for the line measures, is different on the later versions of the reel. This one was a very well made reel, up to the task, and well, okay, let's put the crosswind arm back on. Again, none of this has been cleaned. You will clean that as part of your service. Right now we're just trying to get it back to check the work on that bail snap. Align your hole in your axle shaft or your crosswind bar with your spool assembly shaft. Tighten this down. We'll leave it exposed to do the test just so you see how this operates. It's a beautiful operating, real smooth reel. Like I said, the only flaw in this reel so far, other than a little bit of paint damage, was the bumper on this side. And you can see this hangs a little bit low. Somebody may have even bent this up because of that. It really should be like that, a little bit higher, but you need to fix that issue there. All right, I just knock this off the and when you do this, the side plate holds that on. I'll just put the anti-reverse back on. Beautiful. Take the bail, set that again, hold that back on. And just make sure that it trips when you turn the wheel, and big mouse trap. That's it. So what did we do? We showed you that the easiest way to do it is to remove the rotor and to remove the other side of the bail so that you're working on that. Regardless of what spring broke on your reel, that's the way you would do it, because if this is the spring that's broken on this side, you want to remove the wire so that you can set the arm here, just like kind of like we did over here. So it always makes sense, particularly these two spring deals, to deal with each of them separately and deal with them disconnected. I like to remove the rotor, as I mentioned, because it's not a wrestling match. You're not trying to kind of line things up as this thing is rolling around here. So I like to do that as a general statement. And well, this is a way to take a reel that was sold relatively inexpensively because of the broken bail, get their parts, use a little bit of knowledge, and have a fun fishing reel to take out on the surf. And we'll try to get some of those stripers. They're going to start running pretty soon. All right, this is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle. Before I leave, I want to thank our first responders, everybody that works in public safety in the interests of our well-being, our police, fire, safety, rescue, and the like. And I want to thank you for watching. I just went over 31,000 subscribers. Thank you to all of those who have subscribed. You really are what makes this channel special, and you really do help keep it vibrant. And well, keep me on the money and keep me honest, if you will. I want to wish everybody a great day on the water, fun fishing, and fast friends through the sport. Have a great day.